On this episode of Tag Talks with June Horn, we're going to discuss stray 401ks and why these accounts might need to be brought back into the fold here on the podcast.
This is Tag Talks with June Horn, the CEO and founder of Transition Advisor Group. Join June for insightful conversations about how to successfully chart your retirement journey.
Hey, everybody, welcome into the podcast. Thanks for joining June and I as we talk investing, finance, and retirement with the great team from Transition Advisor Group. Of course, June here as usual to talk with me and kind of help walk us through some of this stuff. And this week, we're going to talk about those 401ks that maybe we've left behind, right? They call them stray 401ks or orphan 401ks. And June, let's go through a few things this week on why that's maybe not the best idea to leave those sitting back there. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. The reason you don't want to just leave them there is because sometimes they're forgotten. There's a lot. I read a stat here a couple weeks ago, 29 million forgotten 401ks at the end of 2023 with over $1 billion in assets. That's a lot of money and a lot of forgotten 401ks.
That is,
Yeah. So when you leave a company, do something with it. And I think the reason that a lot of people don't, Mark, is because there are a lot of different options and they don't know what to do with it. But find somebody to help you is what we're going to say. Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of times it's not like, we just did a podcast not long ago on different generations questions different generations should ask. As a matter of fact, we're going to continue that with here on the next show we'll be talking about that a little bit more as well.
Correct.
But that's one of the things where baby boomer generation, typically they kind of work the same place forever, right? But as a Gen Xer or even millennials now, they're changing jobs a lot more. So there are 401ks clearly to those numbers that you just gave out being left behind. And that's a lot of money and a lot of lack of control as to what you can do with that, right? So let's talk about a few ways that we might want to do that. Well, I guess the first place would be just obviously contact your former employer. That's one way to kind of get the information. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the first place. And let me tell you a story. I had a couple come in here and we were doing they were getting ready to retire. And I said to her, where do you work, whatever, and all this. And she gave me that information. I said, did either of you ever have a previous job? And she said, oh yeah, I did. And she went just like nonchalantly. And I said, well, do you know if you had a 401k there or anything? Oh, I don't know. I said, well, we need to find out. So she got me the information. We called. She had a $70,000 401k there that she would have never touched. Wow. So I was her hero that day, right? So
yeah, and that's a lot of retirement right there. 70 grand.
That's not like finding a $5 bill in your pocket or something. That's big time.
Right. That's right.
So we got that over for her, and of course, she was very happy about that. But I tell you that because I'm sure there's lots of people out there that have that and are not realizing it. So number one, you want to check back with your former employers and say, "Do I have anything here?" And if not, the Secure Act is starting a database, I understand, and it's not till the end of 2024 that you can go on and check that as well. So, but if you need help before that, I'll be certainly glad to help you with that too. So
that's a great point. They're adding that in there, right? They don't have that yet, and we know how smooth the government works, so we won't hold our breath for that to be ready on time. But you can go through the Labor Department as well, right, to try to find some information that way too, right?
Yes.
And so it's really important to do that and find that. You touched on something a minute ago. You said a lot of times we have these and we just don't know what to do with them, right?
Right.
We've left them there. How do you roll them over or what's the best way to do that? Because I know there's a couple schools of thought. Do you roll it into your new jobs plan or do you roll it into something completely different? So let's talk about that.
Well, I think that if you can sit down and talk to somebody, build it into the plan that you have. You need to get a plan together anyways. I always talk about that. And then let's see, is it better to just roll it into what you have? If you have a really good 401k, sometimes it's good just to roll it over into that 401k if they allow it. Most companies do, but there are a few who don't want that. If not, then an advisor or a financial planner can help you say, hey, let's do this with it because this is how we can use it later on. So everybody, again, Mark, everybody's a little different, but the key is to get that rolled out of there. And also understand we want the people to understand that if they just take it out and call them and say, hey, send me a check, you've got a big tax bill at the end too. So just be careful how you do it, but get somebody who's knowledgeable and that will help you do it and get it done properly for you.
Well, let's touch on a couple of those pieces. So if you were just to call them and say, hey, I found it, I've got this thing, send me the money. We'll just use the lady's example of the 70 grand, right?
Sure.
So if she had that just sent to her, if she was under the age of 59 and a half, she's paying a penalty, plus she's paying the taxes, correct?
Correct. That is true. Now, she wasn't under 59 and a half, but she would have had to pay the taxes, which that's not a pleasant thing to do.
No.
Pay 70,000 on top of a good income too. So you want to be careful with that. Yes.
Yeah, because they could bump you a tax bracket, right?
Sure
I mean, if
could.
you're not careful, right?
Yes.
So, when you're talking with an advisor and you're saying, or you're sitting down with someone saying, okay, look, here's where I used to work. Let's find this stuff. You're talking with June. She's helping you get it together. Again, the next question is going to be, okay, what's the most beneficial thing to do? And a lot of times, I mentioned the word control a minute ago. If you're rolling it out of the old 401k, instead of putting it into the new job, maybe an IRA or a Roth is something that's on the table because it does give you more options. Yeah,
it does. And you really hit a good point there, because most times when they're sitting in those forgotten or the 401ks, and nobody's managing them for you, it may not be allocated even properly for your age. As you know, as you get older, we try to get a little bit less risk into the retirement. If you're still young, it's okay, but you're also paying fees in there as well. So again, that's a big thing, is having it allocated and having it put to where somebody's going to be watching it and managing it for you as well.
Yeah, because you're not at the job anymore, so it's not like you don't get a say anyway. But right, so there's nothing. You're not really getting the matching money any longer because you're no longer there.
That's correct.
So a lot of times these 401ks that are left behind, these strays, they typically do have higher fees, and so that could be yet another great reason to go ahead and get it consolidated. Not to mention just making your life a little easier.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. And then figuring out where you're going to put this. I mean, we do the 401ks because we want income later on. So what are we going to do with that to help create that income and combine it with what you already have also? So it just needs to get a plan in there and get it where it needs to be. That's all.
So how much again was that? What'd you say? $2 billion? Oh, no, the total amount that you saw in those statistics for 2023. How much money was
29 million cases, but it was over $1 billion in assets.
Wow. $1 billion sitting out. Yeah, that's a lot of retirement fund, right?
That sure is. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
When you're going through this process, June, and you're trying to help people kind of consolidate and build a cohesive strategy, is this one of the first things you guys talk about when people come in for, that complimentary review? Is it kind of gathering all their current information, but then also kind of chatting and diving into past work history?
Yes, we want to make sure we do touch on that when they do come in, to make sure there's not anything laying out there that they're not even aware of. Yeah. So we do go over that. We try to be as comprehensive as we can when they come in, to gather as much information as we can, because we're going to spend the time doing it. We want to do a good job and have everything included. Sure. Yeah.
For sure. Well, anything else we need to hit on with the old 401k? So again, contact the former employer, right? That's one way. If they're not around, check the Labor Department.
Correct. Labor Department, and then watch for that Secure Act data.
Okay. And then, of course, I guess you guys have some resources or whatever. Like you said, if you need to sit down with someone who can maybe help you because you don't know where to start, which is where a lot of us are at, that's why it's important to get on the calendar and come in for a consultation and a conversation. And so you just reach out to June and the team.
Yeah. And we'll help you call the HR department, because a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to ask. Come in. I'll do it with you. That's what we did with this other gal who we found the 70,000. I actually called with her. So yeah, we'll be glad to help you with all of that. And then the other thing too, is if you have a 401k and it's not, you don't know about it and you pass away, nobody ever gets that money. So it just sits there forever. And we don't want that to happen either. Your wife, your spouse, or your kids could use that.
No, that's true. You want to have, hey, again, $70,000 is a lot of money. So that can go a long way towards whether they needed it or not for their retirement. It could be part of their legacy or whatever the case is, right? So, definitely don't want to leave that stuff behind. And if you need some help, we've got a great way for you to do that. Check this out.
Thinking about your retirement future but not sure where to begin? Transition Advisor Group is here to guide you with a complimentary retirement income review. Our approach, a personalized step-by-step journey tailored to your unique needs. It all starts with our Discover phase. Have a one-on-one meeting with our team, led by June, where we listen to your story, understand your situation, and align strategies with your financial and retirement goals. Then we strategize. Together, we'll explore ways to help enhance your retirement income strategy, crafting an approach that works specifically for you. Finally, we implement, putting your strategy into action. If you're looking for a place to begin your retirement income journey, call us at 717-718-5790 or request a visit online at tag-pa.com. At Transition Advisor Group, charting your retirement journey is our priority. Let's take the first step together.
All right, so again, if you need some help, reach out to June and the team. Go to tag-pa.com. That's tag-pa.com, whichever one's easier for you. And of course, you could reach out to her at 717-718-5790. The information's on the screen if you're checking us out on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple or Spotify or YouTube. And June will wrap it up with any final thoughts on that when it comes to just not leaving those old 401ks behind.
Just know it's not automated. They are not going to tell you. They're not going to call you. They're not going to, they don't just automatically move it to you. You have to do the action on your end. So just get some help to do it and make sure it's done.
Yeah, that's a great point, June. I had a 401k years ago with a company that I totally forgot about. It wasn't there long, and so I knew it wasn't very big. Mm-hmm. And eventually the company, they just rolled it into a little IRA and sent me the bank sent me a piece of paper saying, you now have this IRA sitting with us, so they'll try to do something like that, but they're not going to just like send you the money or anything else. And if you don't follow up with it, like I've never heard back from them again. I know it's there, so I need to go take my own advice. I need to take our own advice right here on the podcast and go get it handled. Right. So it's easy to kind of forget. Sometimes people think, there's no way I would leave money behind, but it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You got to be careful on that. Be diligent and get it done now. Don't wait.
Yeah. Whether it's $5 in your coat pocket or 70 grand in an old account, don't leave it sitting around. And if you need some help again, reach out to June and the team and find her again online at tag-pa.com. And we'll see you next time here on the podcast. Again, don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube right here on Tag Talks, charting your retirement journey.
Thanks for joining us on Tag Talks. Don't forget to like today's video and subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcasting app so you never miss an episode. And if you have any questions, call Transition Advisor Group at 717-718-5790 and connect online at tag-pa.com. Transition Advisor Group, Tag-PA, is a company that includes Transition Planning Associates, an insurance brokerage. Our company provides retirement income planning expertise to individuals and businesses in central Pennsylvania, plus licensed in Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Texas. Transition Advisor Group will help you potentially protect your assets, increase your income, reduce your taxes, provide growth with stability and income you cannot outlive. We at Transition Advisor Group partner with you to put all the proper income planning steps in place for a successful retirement. Licensed insurance professional. Provided content is for overview and informational purposes only and is not intended and should not be relied upon as individualized tax, legal, fiduciary, or investment advice. By contacting us, downloading booklets, or attending events, you may be offered a meeting to discuss how our insurance and other services can meet your retirement needs. The presenters of this information are not associated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.